Okay, so this has to do with SEO and the idea of how search engines and how algorithms for search are working these days. And in the previous model, it was about creating, we'll say, a page and a lot of consistency on it in terms of a theme. But my thought is nowadays it's moving in towards kind of like a content island model where it's more about like having content on a page, and search engines are really good at being able to find like that particular thing. So I asked ChatGPT 5.5 about it, which is, arguably one of the smarter models that exist today, and this is what it was saying. So my question to it was, I think the internet is moving towards a place where it's getting good at sourcing and landing people on content islands, where the original source of the content can be fragmented in terms of content type. So it said back, yes, content islands is a good way to think about it. The old model was more like building a website section around one narrow topic and hoping people browse through it. So that's when you'd get like, this one page is about making cake and then 1,000 videos on making cake. We're talking more like one account where one video is about making cake, another video is about mowing a lawn. Content islands. Okay, so the new model is closer to publisher made durable artifacts, which each with enough structure and context that social search and AI systems can route that right person to the right island at the right time. So this is getting into the idea that AI systems are getting very good at saying, like, oh, okay, this one little nugget is about, we'll say, mowing the lawn, and we can match that with someone who's looking for that content, even though it exists within a cloud of other content. Okay, that's pretty cool. Those islands can be mixed formats: video, transcripts, local field notes, technical demos. The common thread does not have to be every post is about IT services. The common thread can be Nate Haskins, St. Louis County. So it's saying I can have a diverse array of interests and a diverse array of content, and the search engine's not going to penalize you for posting a bunch of different types of stuff. It's getting good at narrowing down and returning just a small section of the relevant stuff that the user is looking for. So this is good if you have eclectic interests, that's for sure. Just to wrap it up here, it goes on to say a noodle post can be valid island if it has context. I was asking it about ramen noodles. If I went to a place and said they had good noodles, for example, on my technical blog, would that work? It's basically saying, yeah, this island does not need to contain the whole story. It needs to be findable, creditable, self-contained, linked to a broader identity, easy for the machine to classify, and easy for humans to understand. So now we're defining the, like, I would call this the post-AI era SEO criteria type stuff. And this is where your structured page format matters. Each artifact says, and now we're getting into criteria as to what makes those pages basically check those boxes. To wrap it up, it says, so yes, I think you're describing the internet moving from a web as a brochure to a web as a structured source libraries. Your site becoming less like a magazine with rigid departments and more like a navigatable collection of proof, context, and lived experiences or expertise. That's pretty interesting. It's kind of saying that, don't worry, just post the stuff and we'll sort out what goes where. That's kind of nice, actually. And so the last bit of this conversation talks about, I asked it a question. I said, right, I'm seeing the modern websites being one part where people go directly to learn information about your brand, but more so where AI is going to hit when it needs information on your brand for a request. So I'm saying, moving forward, a year out, 2 years out, we're not going to go to websites as much. We're actually going to use our AI tools to get information, and those AI tools are going to go to the websites for us. That's what I'm saying here. I think the layer people interact with is going to be less your website and more their AI tools. Okay, so this is what I said to the smartest AI on the planet. I mean, that's a loaded statement, but let's go with it. Yes, I think that's exactly the direction. So it agrees. It's saying the web is becoming less like a front desk and more like a source record. Interesting. People will still visit websites directly, especially when they are doing due diligence, but more and more discovery may happen through intermediate layers. An intermediate layer in this case meaning somebody's using an AI to talk to your content, essentially. They're not going directly to it with a web browser. So the web's job changes. It's no longer, can a person browse the site and understand my services? Instead, it also becomes, can a machine accurately understand who I am, what I do, where I operate, what I believe in, what proof exists, and when to recommend me. That's a lot. That's a huge shift, it says, of course. Your site, that means pages should be built as retrieval friendly artifacts. And this is the shift, because on this hand it's saying retrieval friendly artifact, meaning something the machines can read, it has good semantics, it's rendered at runtime, it's not hard to, versus like it visually looks stunning. You're going to have somebody go to this page on the internet and actually read the page itself as the way you've posted it on the web. So this is like cutting right past our fancy themes, for example. No one's going to know how cool your design is. They're just going to get the data directly if it exists. So it seems to be saying optimize for getting the data directly. That's a huge shift. This is much different than what we're doing now. So for your site, this means pages should be built as a retrieval-friendly artifacts. And then it lists some standards: clear titles, visible body structures, JSON LD, real proof video. So it's talking about things that are now defining proof and information in this post-AI era. Real proof video is a very interesting one to call out too. It's the idea that these videos now are an excellent source of proof. I mean, you can fake a lot of things with AI, but seeing someone's camera phone video, you can create that visceral sense of like, okay, I think that is real. And that's hard to fake, actually. When videos run more than, right now, when they run more than, we'll say, 15 seconds, yeah, it's hard to maintain if you're trying to do an AI, but if it's legit and real, it's very easy. So that's powerful. So down here it says, who in St. Louis can explain AI to a small business owner, or find someone whose local understanding is websites, automation, and AI. The actual AI has a source material to work with. So this is talking about how AI essentially will ask questions to AI. AI will go to our website, AI will consume it, and then respond to us with the answer, as opposed to us going to the website and then using our eyes to interpret the design layer and then make our interpretation. That is a shift. That's quite a shift. So this is the last piece we'll talk about in this video. Actually, I think I'm going to cut it here. It's already running pretty long. We'll talk about the transfer of authority next.